So good morning, folks. This is a guide for my Scion Spectral Throw LMP character with double strike for single target damage. This is a new player oriented build, or oriented for somebody with little to no support, not a big group. You can do this yourself and survive even in hardcore, and still have enough DPS early on that you're happy with yourself. So this is my weapon that I'm using right now. I paid a Chaos for it. It's got exactly what I need. High physical, some accuracy. That's all I needed on it. I found this. Good helm. I alked. This is one of the necklaces I alked. It came out good using that. That's something that I found or alked. Can't recall. Decent enough. Not spectacular. Worth using. I alked 3 different 2-stone rings, and then I combined them to a prismatic rare, and it came out that. Very awesome. Incredible amounts of resist. No life on it, but enough resist that I'm using it anyways. Found these recently. That's a pretty high level on those. Found those on Ledge Merciless, I think. Bought that for a Chaos, just to get the incredible amounts of life, and along with a high physical damage roll. Pretty cool. Found these a long time ago. Out several chests. Finally got this one. Was a small upgrade in every way from my previous one, including 100 armor. So I guess I'm happy with that. Good survivability chest right there. Tons of strength on this build. Tons and tons and tons of it. It gives you life. It gives you increased % physical damage. What more could you want? Enough accuracy to get a decent, or enough dexterity to get a decent accuracy bonus. Couldn't ask for much more than that. Passive tree right now at level 59. Pretty straightforward. Almost exactly what I am aiming for. I've got a little node right there, 15% cold resistance. You're real close to all the different cold resistances. Fire resistances, lightning resistances. At different points on this tree. As you're leveling, including an additional 6% all resist right there. For a little while I had that 6% all resist, I had that 15% fire, I had the 15% cold, and I had that 18% lightning resist. Well, you know what? Finally my gear caught up to where I was at in Merciless, and now I don't have to have any of those. I just have one little 15% cold left. Eventually I'll get rid of that, and I won't have to have anything but the 2 big all resist nodes. And that will be outstanding. It's just one more way that this build supports you leveling up as a unsupported or low gear player. Tremendous amount of regen. Shaper 1%. Life regen 1%. Troll's Blood 1.5%. Life regen 1%. Golem's Blood 1.5%. That's pretty epic. You get most of the regen in the tree this way. There's just incredible amounts of goodness here. You get some evasion and armor here with 10 more all resistances, by the way, on the way out. This is projectile damage, which stacks excellently when you're using a projectile attack along with physical or elemental damage. So having a little bit of projectile damage in there is great. It's probably not worth going over here to get more. It's too many skill points used up when you're going to want them more probably in sword damage or at something later. You could, however, go over here when you get this and also go up and get this, but that's all in things for you to figure out for yourself and what's the better build. So, last interesting thing I'm doing: cast when damage taken, enfeeble, molten shell, enduring cry. Straight up damage mitigation whenever I get hit for more than 440 damage, or take a total of 440 damage. I'm not quite sure what the difference is there in the way that's worded, but it works. The only caveat is you do not want to level this cast when damage taken skill, because it might even get harder to cast that, and you simply want that thing casting really rapidly to keep up those enduring cry charges, or those endurance charges from enduring cry. So let's go run through an area and see what this thing does. It's level 55 area. I am level 59, but most of my gear is below level 55 anyways. This is typically what level you're at when you're in this zone in the game. Act 1 Merciless. There goes the cast when damage taken ability kicking off. Up to 3 charges from cast when damage taken now. You can tell there's some serious damage mitigation. It's just my life never isn't really leaving 100 in a fight like this. It's not even in bursts. A little bit of interesting lag there picking up that loot. Yay. Finding those orbs of alchemy throughout the game, that's typically how I get my best loot. I alch rings, I alch necklaces. When I really need to, I alch a chest piece or a boots or a sash or something, but preferably jewelry. One of the things right now is in the new leagues, if you alch one each of the different 2-stone rings, then you can combine those 3 to get a rare prismatic ring if those 3 weren't good. So that's another chance. And then you take your prismatic rings. If you collect 5 of them, you simply turn in 5 of those crappy ones for another chance at a good prismatic ring. And you can just keep the love going that way. Although it does get slower towards, once you're just alching a bunch or combining a bunch of prismatic rings together. Typically, though, you'll find some halfway decent rings without too many alchs spent. A lot of players right now are literally just going out and buying alchs. Now there's some damage finally, but you can tell that was heavily mitigated. What that would have looked like without those enduring cry charges would be painful. I should actually be using my single target DPS here to just wreck him. Those new cannibals can actually be quite deadly. Oh, it's 2-hand weapon. Always ID at least the 2-hand blue weapons, even though I don't do all blues, because you never know, you might find one with just a really high physical roll on it and accuracy, and so you could sell it for a chaos, or use it if you need it, and it's a small upgrade or something. Two-hand weapons are pretty popular right now, so. Because of Spectral Throw. So there's a good market. This could be an interesting fight. I'm going to go ahead and pop my granite flask. Shroud Walker makes it harder for me to hit, I believe. And there's some flicker striking and unable to kill them until this guy dies. So, interesting fight. Just stay safe, pop the granites. And we were never in any danger at all. even though that was a pretty interesting fight mechanically with some builds that I've had. I'd have been in real fear for my life at that point. It's one of the more interesting or surprising Nemesis mods. He will blow up pretty big when he dies. So even though I really don't think he'd kill me, I tend to get away from him. I have been hit by a couple of them right now that are dealing no more than a fifth to a quarter of my life, maybe a hair more than a quarter. But I don't want to take the chance that one of them is going to be really strong and critical me and take me really low with other monsters around. So you got to move away from those things, those volatiles, bloods and such. The one that's worse than that is the one that applies to stacking bleed dots on you. But you can take quite a bit of those dots with this character. You're pretty safe. You just don't want to keep hitting him straight up until he dies, because that would probably be too many dots. Those vile touches do chaos damage right now, but honestly they don't hit enough that they're not scary. So, not the fastest Coves run in the world, but you know what? It's Merciless Nemesis League, which is hardcore, with Nemesis mods. And we never felt in danger at all. Very safe, got a lot of XP, not too much time. It works. See y'all later.